Yublym, chapter 31. And on the new Urach of the month, Yaakub spoke to all the peoples of his house, saying, Purify yourselves, and change your garments, and let us arise and go up to Baal, where I vowed a vow to him on the day when I fled from the face of Esau, my brother, because he has been with me, and brought me into this land in peace, and put you away the strange mighty ones that are among you. And they gave up the strange mighty ones, and that which was in their ears, and which was on their necks, and the idols which Rahel stole from Laban her brother. She gave all to Yaakub, and he burned and broke them to pieces, and destroyed them, and hid them under a terebinth, which is in the land of Shechem. And he went up on the new year of the 7th month to Baal, and he built an altar at the place where he had slept, and he put up a standing column there. And he sent word to his father Yitzchak to come to him to his offering and to his mother Ribkah. And Yitzchak said, Let my bond Yaakub come, and let me see him before I die. And Yaakub went to his father Yitzchak and to his mother Ribkah to the house of his father Abraham, and he took 2 of his banim with him, Louis and Yehudah, and he came to his father Yitzchak and to his mother Ribkah. And Ribkah came out from the tower to the front of it to kiss Yaakub and embrace him, for her rook had revived when she heard, See, Yaakub, your ban has come. And she kissed him, and she saw his 2 banim, and she recognized them, and said to him, Are these your banim, my ban? And she embraced them and kissed them, and baraked them, saying, And you shall, the seed of Abraham, become great, and you shall prove a barakah on the Eretz. And Yaakub went to Yitzchak his father, to the chamber where he lay, and his 2 banim were with him. And he took the hand of his father, and stooping down, he kissed him. And Yitzchak clung to the neck of Yaakub his ban, and wept upon his neck. And the darkness left the eyes of Yitzchak, and he saw the 2 banim of Yaakub, Louis and Yehudah. And he said, Are these your banim, my ban? They are like you. And he said to him that they were truly his banim. And you have indeed seen that they are truly my banim. And they came near to him, and he turned and kissed them and embraced them both together. And the rook of Nabuah came down into his mouth, and he took Louis by his right hand and Yehudah by his left. And he turned to Louis first, and he began to barak him first, and said to him, May the Elohim of all, the very Adon of all the ages, barak you and your children throughout all the ages. And may Yahuwah give to you and to your seed greatness and great esteem, and cause you and your seed from among all the flesh to approach him to serve in his mikdash as the messengers of the presence, and as the kodashim, as they shall the seed of your banim be for esteem and greatness and kadashah. And may he make them great unto all generations. And they shall be princes and judges and chiefs, and of all the seed of the banim of Yaakub. They shall speak the word of Yahuwah in righteousness, and they shall rightly rule all his right rulings in righteousness. And they shall declare my ways to Yaakub, and my paths to Israel. The barakah of Yahuwah shall be given in their mouths to barak all the seed of the beloved. Your mother has called your name Louis, and rightly has she called your name. You shall be joined to Yahuwah, and be the companion of all the banim of Yaakub. Let his table be yours, and you and your banim shall eat of it. And may your table be full unto all generations, and your food not fail unto all generations. And let all who hate you fall down before you, and let all your adversaries be rooted out and perish. And Baruch is he that barak you, and cursed is every nation that curses you. And to Yehudah he said, May Yahuwah give you strength and power to tread down all that hate you. A prince you shall be, you and one of your banim, over the banim of Yaakub. May your name and the name of your banim go forth and cover every land, and region. Then shall the Gentiles fear before your face, and all nations shall quake. And you shall be the assistants of Yaakov, and in you be found the deliverance of Israel. And when you sit on the throne of the honor of your righteousness, there shall be great peace for all the seed of the Banim of the beloved. And Baruch shall he be that barak you, and all that hate you and afflict you and curse you shall be rooted out and destroyed from the Eretz and accursed. And turning he kissed him again, and embraced him, and rejoiced greatly. For he had seen the Banim of Yaakov, his ban, in great truth. And he went forth from between his feet, and fell down and worshipped him, and he baraked them, and rested there with Yitzchak his father that night. And they ate and drank with joy. And he made the two Banim of Yaakov sleep, the one of his right hand, and the other on his left hand, and it was counted to him for righteousness. And Yaakov told his father all during the night, how Yahweh had shown him great kindness, and how he had prospered all his ways, and protected him from all evil. And Yitzchak barak the Elohim of his father Abraham, who had not withdrawn his kindness and his righteousness from the Banim of his servant Yitzchak. And in the Bakar, Yaakov told his father Yitzchak the vow which he had vowed to Yahweh, and the vision which he had seen, and that he had built an altar, and that all was ready for the offering to be made before Yahweh as he had vowed, and that he had come to place him on a donkey. And Yitzchak said to Yaakov his bond, I am not able to go with you, for I am old and not able to bear the way. Go in peace, my bond, for I am 165 years this day. I am no longer able to journey. Appoint your mother and let her go with you. And I know, my bond, that you have come on my account. And may this day be Baruch, on which you have seen me alive. And I also have seen you, my bond. May you prosper and complete the vow which you have vowed, and not put off your vow, for you shall be called to the account concerning the vow. Now therefore make haste to perform it, and may he be pleased who has made all matters, to whom you have vowed the vow. And he said to Rivkah, Go with Yaakov your bond. And Rivkah went with Yaakov her bond, and Deborah with her. And they came to Baal. And Yaakov remembered the Palal which with his father had barak him, and his two Banim, Louis and Yehuda. And he rejoiced, and baraked the Elohim of his fathers, Abraham and Yitzchak. And he said, Now I know that I have an everlasting hope, and my Banim also before the Elohim of all. And thus it is ordained concerning the two. And they record it as an everlasting witness to them on the tablets of the Shamayim, how Yitzchak barak them. Chapter 32. And he stayed that night at Beit Al, and Louis dreamed that they had ordained and made him the Kohan of the Most High Al, he and his Banim forever. And he awoke from his sleep and barak Yahweh. And Yaakov rose early in the Bakar on the 14th of this month. And he gave the tithe of all that came with him, both males and cattle, both gold and every vessel and garment he even gave tithes of all. And in those days Rahel became pregnant with her bond, Benjamin. And Yaakov counted his Banim from him upwards, and Louis fell to the portion of Yael, and his father clothed him in the garments of the Kohanah, and filled his hands. And on the 15th of this month he brought to the altar 14 bulls from among the cattle, 28 rams, 49 sheep, 7 lambs, 21 young goats, as a burnt offering on the altar of offering, well pleasing as a sweet fragrance before Elohim. This was his offering because of the vow which he had vowed, that he would give a tenth of their grain offerings and their drink offerings. And when the fire had consumed it, he burned incense on the fire over the fire. And for a slaughtering of thanksgiving, 2 bulls, 4 rams, 4 sheep, 4 goats, and 2 sheep of a year old, and 2 young goats. And thus he did daily for 7 days. And he and all his Banim and his males were eating with joy there during 7 days, and barakah, and thanking Yahuwah who had delivered him out of his tribulation and had given him his vow. And he tithed all the clean beasts, and made a burnt offering. But the unclean beast he gave to Louis his bond, and he gave him all the beings of the males. And Louis served as Kohan at Beit Al before Yaakub his father in preference to his 10 brothers, and he was a Kohan there. And Yaakub gave his vow. Thus he tithed again the tithe to Yahuwah and Kadushed it, and it became Kadush unto him. And for this reason it is ordained on the tablets of the Shemayim as a law for the tithe. Furthermore, to eat the tithe before Yahuwah from year to year, and the place where it is chosen that his name should dwell. And to this law there is no limit of days forever. This law is written that it may be fulfilled from year to year in eating the second tithe before Yahuwah in the place where he is chosen, where it has been chosen, and none shall remain over from it from this year to the following year. For in its year the seed shall be eaten till the days of the gathering of the seed of the year, until the wine till the days of the wine, and the oil till the days of its season, and all that is left of it becomes old. Let it be regarded as polluted, let it be burned with fire, for it is unclean. So let them eat it together in the mikdash, and let them not allow it to become old. And all the tithes of the bulls and sheep shall be kadush unto Yahuwah, and shall belong to his Kohanim, which they shall eat before him from year to year. For so it is ordained and engraved regarding the tithe on the tablets of the Shemayim. And on the following night, on the 22nd day of this month, Yaakub resolved to build that place, and to surround the courtyard with a wall, and to kadush it, and to make it kadush forever, for himself and his children after him. And Yahuwah appeared to him by night, and barak him, and said to him, Your name shall not be called Yaakub, but they shall name your name Yisrael. And he said to him further, I am Yahuwah who created the Shemayim and the Eretz, and I shall increase you and multiply you exceedingly. And the sovereigns shall come forth from you, and they shall rightly rule everywhere, wherever the foot of the banim of males has trodden. And I shall give to your seed and to the Eretz which is under the Shemayim, and they shall rightly rule all the nations according to their desires. And after that they shall gain possession of the whole Eretz, and inherit it forever. And he finished speaking with him, and he went up from him, and Yaakub looked till he had ascended into the Shemayim. And he saw in a vision of the night, and see, a messenger descended from the Shemayim with 7 tablets in his hand. He gave them to Yaakub, and he read them, and he knew all that was written therein, which would come upon him and his banim throughout all ages. And he showed him all that was written on the tablets, and said to him, Do not build this place, and do not make it an everlasting mikdash, and do not dwell here, for it is not the place. Go to the house of Abraham, your father, and dwell with Yitzchak, your father, until the day of the death of your father. For in Mitzrayim you shall die in peace, and in this land you shall be buried with honor in the grave of your fathers, with Abraham and Yitzchak. Do not fear, for as you have seen and read, so it shall be. And you shall write down all as you have seen and read. And Yaakub said, Adonai, how can I remember all that I have read and seen? And he said to him, I shall bring all matters to your remembrance. And he went up from him, and he awoke from his sleep, and he remembered all which he had read and seen, and he wrote down all the words which he had read and seen. And he celebrated there yet another day. And on it he slaughtered according to all that he slaughtered on the former days, and called its name Addition, for this day was added, and a former days he called the feast. And so it was revealed that it should be, and it is written on the tablets of the Shemayim. Therefore it was revealed to him that he should celebrate it, and add it to the 7 days of the feast. And its name was called Addition, because it was recorded among the days of the feast days, according to the number of days of the year. And in the night, on the 23rd of this month, Deborah, Ribkah's nurse, died, and they buried her beneath the city under the terebinth of the river. And he called the name of this place the river of Deborah, and the terebinth of the mourning of Deborah. And Ribkah went and returned to her house, to his father Yitzchak, and Yaakov sent by her hands rams, sheep, goats, that she should prepare a meal for his father, such as he desired. And he went after his mother till he came to the land of Kabratan, and he dwelt there. And Rahel bore a bond in the night, and called the name Ban Uni, for she suffered in giving birth to him. But his father called his name Banyamin. On the 11th of the 8th month, and the first of the 6th week of the Subal. And Rahel died there, and she was buried in the land of Ephrath. The same is Beit Laham. And Yaakov built a standing column on the grave of Rahel, on the road above her grave. Chapter 33. And Yaakov went and dwelt to the south of Magdala Apath. And he went to his father Yitzchak, he and Leah his wife. And on the new Yurach of the 10th month, and Reuben saw Bilhah, Rahal's female servant, the concubine of his father, washing in water in a secret place, and he loved her. And he hid himself at night, and he entered the house of Bilhah, and he found her sleeping alone on a bed in her house. And he lay with her, and she awoke and looked, and see, Reuben was lying with her in the bed, and she uncovered the border of her covering, and seized him, and cried out, and discovered that it was Reuben. And she was ashamed because of him, and released her hand from him, and he fled. And she lamented because of this matter exceedingly, and did not tell it to anyone. And when Yaakov returned and sought her, she said to him, I am unclean for you, for I have been defiled in regard to you. For Reuben has defiled me, and has lain with me in the night. And I was asleep, and did not discover until he uncovered my skirt, and slept with me. And Reuben was and Yaakov was exceedingly wroth with Reuben, because he had lain with Bilhah, because he had uncovered his father's skirt. And Yaakov did not approach her again, because Reuben had defiled her. And as for any male who uncovers his father's skirt, his deed is exceedingly wicked, for he is abominable before Yahweh. For this reason it is written and ordained on the tablets of the Shemayim, that a male should not lie with his father's wife, and should not uncover his father's skirt, for this is unclean. They shall certainly die together, the male who lies with his father's wife, and the female also, for they have wrought uncleanness on the Eretz, and there shall be none unclean before our Elohim in the nation which he has chosen for himself as a possession. And again it is written in second time, Cursed is he who lies with the wife of his father, for he has uncovered his father's shame. And all the Kodashim of Yahweh said, So be it, so be it. And you, Moshe, shall command the children of Israel that they observe this word. A punishment of death is for it, and it is unclean, and there is no atonement forever to atone for the male who has committed this. But he is to be put to death and slain, and stoned with stones, and rooted out from the midst of the people of our Elohim. For to no male who does so in Israel is it permitted to remain alive a single day on the Eretz, for he is abominable and unclean. And let them not say to Reuben was granted height and forgiveness after he had lain with his father's concubine. And to her also, though she had a husband, and her husband Yaakov his father was still alive. For until that time there had not been revealed the law and right ruling and Torah and its completeness for all, but in your days as a law of seasons and of days, an everlasting law for the generations forever. And for this law there is no end of days and no atonement for it, but they must both be rooted out in the midst of the nation. On the day which they committed it, they shall slay them. And you, Moshe, shall write down for Israel, that they may observe it, and do according to these words, and not commit a crime unto death. For Yahuwah our Elohim is judge, who does not respect faces, and accepts no bribes. And tell them these words of the covenant, that they may hear and observe, and be on their guard in regard to them, and not be destroyed and rooted out of the land. For all they who do so are an uncleanness, and an abomination, and a contamination, and a pollution on the Eretz before our Elohim. And there is no greater crime than the whoring which they commit on the Eretz. For Yisrael is a Kadush nation under Yahuwah its Elohim, and a nation of inheritance, and a kahuna, and a royal nation, and for a possession, and no such uncleanness shall appear in the midst of the Kadush nation. And in the 3rd year of this 6th week, Yaakov and all his banim went and dwelt in the house of Abraham, near Yitzchak his father, and Ribkah his mother. And these were the names of the banim of Yaakov, the firstborn: Rauban, Shimon, Lui, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zabulun. The banim of Leah, the banim of Rahal, Yusuf, Benjamin. The banim of Bilhah, Dan, Naphtali. The banim of Zilpah, Gad, and Asher, and Dinah. And the daughter of Leah, the only daughter of Yaakov. And they came and bowed themselves to Yitzchak and Ribkah. And when they saw them, they barak Yaakov and all his banim. And Yitzchak rejoiced exceedingly, for he saw the banim of Yaakov, his younger ban, and he barak them. Chapter 34. And in the 6th year of this week, of this 44th Yublym, Yaakov sent his banim to pasture their sheep, and his servants with them, to the pastures of Shechem. And the 7 sovereigns of the Amorites assembled themselves together against them to slay them, hiding themselves under the tree, and to take their cattle as plunder. And Yaakov and Lui and Yehuda and Yosef were in the house with Yitzchak their father, for his rook was sorrowful, and they could not leave him. And Benjamin was the youngest, and for this reason remained with his father. And there came the sovereign of Tappuah, the sovereign of Hatzor, the sovereign of Saragan, the sovereign of Shilu, the sovereign of Gaash, the sovereign of Beit Huron, and the sovereign of Shakir Ma'ani, and all those who dwell in these mountains, who dwell in the woods, in the land of Canaan. And they announced this to Yaakov, saying, See, the sovereigns of the Amorites have surrounded your banim, and plundered their herds. And he arose from his house, he and his 3 banim, and all the servants of his father, and his own servants, and he went against them with 6,000 males who carried swords. And he slew them in the pastures of Shechem, and pursued those who fled. And he slew them with the edge of the sword. And he slew Arazah, and Tapu, and Saragan, and Shilu, and Amanisakir, and Gaash. And he recovered his herds. And he prevailed over them, and imposed tribute on them, that they should pay him tribute, 5 fruit products of their land. And he built Rubal and Tamnath Taras, and he returned in peace, and made peace with them. And they became his servants until the day that he and his banim went down to Mitzrayim. And in the 7th year of this week he sent Yusuf to the land of Shechem, to learn about the welfare of his brothers from his house. And he found them in the land of Dothan. And they dealt treacherously with him, and formed a plot against him to slay him. But changing their minds, they sold him to a Ishmaelite merchant, and they brought him down into Mitzrayim. They sold him to Putipar, the eunuch of Pharaoh, the chief of the guard, priest of the city of Alu. And the Banim of Yaakub slaughtered a young goat and dipped the coat of Yusef in the blood, and sent to Yaakub their father on the 10th of the 7th month. And he mourned all that night, for they had brought it to him in the evening, and he became feverish with mourning for his death. And he said, An evil beast has devoured Yusuf. And all the members of his house were grieving until morning, and grieving and mourning with him all that day. And his Banim and his daughter rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted for his ban. And on that day Bilhah heard that Yusuf had perished, and she died mourning him. And she was living in Kaphratah. And Dinah his daughter also died after Yusuf had perished. And there came these 3 mournings upon Yisrael in 1 month. And they buried Bilhah opposite the tomb of Rahel, and Dinah his daughter, and they also buried there. And he mourned for Yusuf 1 year, and did not cease, for he said, Let me go down to the grave mourning for my bond. For this reason it is ordained for the children of Israel that they should afflict themselves on the 10th of the 7th month, on the day that the news which made him weep for Yusuf came to Yaakub his father, that on it they should make atonement for themselves with a young goat on the 10th of the 7th month, once a year, for their crimes, for they had grieved the affliction of their father regarding Yusuf his bond. And this day has been ordained that they should grieve thereon for their crimes, and for all their transgressions, for all their strayings, so that they might cleanse themselves on that day once a year. And after Yusuf perished, the Banim of Yaakub took unto themselves wives. The name of Ra'oban's wife is Adah. The name of Shimun's wife is Adiba'ah, a Canaanite. And the name of Louis' wife is Milcah, of the daughters of Aram, the seed of the Banim of Terah. And of the Yahudah's wife, Batzuah, a Canaanite. The name of Yisachar's wife, Hezekiah. The name of Zabulon's wife, Ne'iman. And the name of Dan's wife, Aglah. The name of Naphtali's wife, Razu'u, of Aram Naharaim. And the name of Gad's wife, Ma'akah. The name of Ashar's wife, Yunah. The name of Yusef's wife, Asanah, the Mitzrayite. The name of Banyamin's wife, Yasakah. And Shimun repented, and took a second wife from Aram Naharaim as his brothers. Chapter 35. And in the first year, the first week of the 45th Yubal, Ribkah called Yaakub her ban, and commanded him regarding his father and regarding his brother, that he should honor them all the days of his height. And Yaakub said, I shall do all as you have commanded me, for this matter shall be an honor and greatness to me, and righteousness before Yahuwah, that I should honor them. And you too, mother, know from the time I was born until this day, all my deeds, and all that is in my heart, that I always think good concerning all. And how should I not do this matter which you have commanded me, that I should honor my father and my brother? Tell me, mother, what perversity have you seen in me? And I shall turn away from it, and kindness shall be upon me. And she said to him, My bond, I have not seen in you all the days of my perversity, but upright deeds. And yet I shall tell you the truth, my bond, I shall die this year, and I shall not survive this year in my height. For I have seen in a dream that the day of my death, that I should not live beyond 155 years. And see, I have completed all the days of my high, which I am to live. And Yaakub laughed at the words of his mother, because his mother had said to him that she should die. But she was sitting opposite to him, position of her strength, and she was not weak in her strength, for she went in and out and saw, and her teeth were strong, and no sickness had touched her all the days of her height. And Yaakub said to her, Baruch am I, mother, if my days approach the days of your height, will my strength remain with me such as your strength? But you shall not die, for you are joking idly with me regarding your death. And she went in to Yitzchak and said to him, One petition I make unto you. Make Esau swear that he shall not injure Yaakov, nor pursue him with enmity. For you know Esau's thoughts, that they are perverse from his youth, and there is no goodness in him, for he desires after your death to kill him. And you know all that he has done since the day Yaakov his brother went to Haran until this day, how he has forsaken us with his whole heart, and has done evil to us. He has taken your flocks to himself, and carried off all your possessions from before your face. And when we implored and pleaded with him for what was our own, he did as a male who was taking pity on us. And he is bitter against you, because you Barak Yaakub, your perfect and upright bond. For there is no evil but only goodness in him. And since he came from Haran unto this day, he has not robbed us of any matter. For he brings us all in its season always, and rejoices with all his heart, when we take at his hands, and he Barak us, and has not parted from us since he came from Haran until this day. And he remains with us continually at home, honoring us. And Yitzchak said to her, I too know the deed, and see the deeds of Yaakov, who is with us, and how that with all his heart he honors us. And I loved Esau formerly more than Yaakov, because he was the firstborn. But now I love Yaakov more than Esau, for he has done much evil deeds, and there is no righteousness in him. For all his ways are righteousness and violence. And now my heart is troubled because of all his deeds, and neither he nor his seed is to be saved. For they are those who shall be destroyed from the Eretz, who shall be rooted out from under Shamayim. For he has forsaken the Alaim of Abraham, and gone after his wives, and after their uncleanness, and after their straying, he and his children. And you command me, make him swear that he shall not slay Yaakov his brother. Even if he swears, he shall not keep his oath, and he shall do no good, but only evil. But if he desires to slay Yaakov his brother, into Yaakov's hands he shall be given, and he shall not escape from his hands. And do not fear on account of Yaakov, for the guardian of Yaakov is great and powerful, and honored and praised more than the guardian of Esau. And Ribkah sent and called Esau, and he came to her, and she said to him, I have a petition, my bond, to make unto you, and you shall promise to do it, my bond. And he said, I shall do all that you say to me, and I shall not refuse your petition. And she said to him, I ask you that the day I die, you shall take me in and bury me near Sarah, your father's mother, and that you and Yaakov shall love each other, and that neither shall desire evil against the other, but mutually love only. And you shall prosper, my banim, and be honored in the midst of their land. And no enemy shall rejoice over you, and shall be a barakah and a kindness in the eyes of all those that love you. And he said, Shall I do all that you have told me? And shall I bury you on the day that you die near Sarah, my father's mother, as you have desired, that her bones may be near you, your bones? And Yaakov, my brother also, I shall love above all flesh, for I have no brother in all the Eretz but him only. And this is no great merit for me if I love him, for he is my brother. And we were knit together in your body, together we came forth from your womb. And if I do not love my brother, whom shall I love? And I myself beg you to urge Yaakov concerning me and concerning my banim, for I know that he shall surely be a sovereign over my banim, and I. For on the day my father Barak him, he made him higher, and I the lower. And I swear to you that I shall love him, and not desire evil against him all the days of my height, but only good. And he swore to her regarding all this matter. And she called Yaakov before the eyes of Esau, and gave him command according to the words which which she had spoken to Esau. And he said, I shall do your desire. Believe me that no evil shall proceed from me, or from my banim against Esau. I shall only be first, and none except in love only. And they ate and drank, she and her banim, that night, and she died, 3 Yublym, 1 week, 1 year old, on that night. And her 2 banim, Esau and Yaakov, buried her in the cave of Machpelah near Sarah, their father's mother. Chapter 36. And in the 6th year of this week, Yitzchak called his 2 banim, Esau and Yaakov, and they came to him, and he said to them, My banim, I am going the way of my fathers, to the everlasting dwelling where my fathers are. Therefore bury me near Abraham my father, in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron the Hittite, where Abraham purchased a grave to bury in. In the grave which I dug for myself, bury me there. And this I command you, my banim, that you do righteousness and uprightness on the eretz, so that Yahuwah may bring upon you all that Yahuwah said that he would do to Abraham and to his seed. And love one another, my banim, your brothers, as a male who loves his own being, and let each seek how he may benefit his brother, and work together on the eretz, and let them love each other as their own beings. And concerning the question of idols, I command and admonish you to reject them, and hate them, and love them, for they are full of deception for those that worship them, and for those that bow down to them. Remember, my banim, Yahuwah Elohim of Abraham your father, and how I too worshipped him and served him in righteousness and in joy, that he might multiply you and increase your seed as the stars of the Shamayim in multitude, and establish you on the eretz as a plant of righteousness, which shall not be rooted out unto all generations forever. And now I shall make you swear a great oath, for there is no oath which is greater than it. By the name esteemed and honored and great and splendid and wonderful and mighty, which created the Shamayim, all the eretz, all matters together, that you should fear him and worship him, and that each shall love his brother with affection and righteousness, and that neither shall desire evil against his brother from this time and forever all the days of your height, so that you may prosper in all your deeds and not be destroyed. If either of you plans evil against his brother, know that from this time on, every one that plans evil against his brother shall fall into his hand, and shall be rooted out of the land of the living, and his seed shall be destroyed from under the Shamayim. But on the day of tribulation and abhorrence and displeasure and wrath and flaming devouring fire, as he burned Sodom, so likewise shall he burn his land and his city, and all that is his, and he shall be blotted out of the book of the instruction of the children of males, and not be recorded in the book of Hai, but in that which is appointed to destruction. And he shall depart into everlasting abhorrence, so that their condemnation may be always renewed, and abomination, and in abhorrence, and in wrath, and in torment, and in displeasure, and plagues, and in disease forever. I say and witness to you, my banim, according to the judgment which shall come upon the male who wishes to injure his brother. And he divided all his possessions between the two on that day, and he gave their larger portion to him that was the firstborn, and the tower, and all that was about it, and all that Abraham possessed at Baal Shabah. And he said, This larger portion I shall give to the firstborn. And Esau said, I have sold to Yaakov, and given my birthright to Yaakov. Let it be given to him, and I have not a single word to say regarding it, for it is his. And Yitzchak said, May a barakah rest upon you, my banim, and upon your seed this day, for you have given me rest, and my heart is not pained concerning the birthright, lest you should do wickedness on account of it. May the Most High barak the male that works righteousness, he and his seed forever. And he ended commanding them and to barak them, and they ate and drank together before him. And he rejoiced because there was one mind between them. And they went out from him and rested that day and slept. And Yitzchak slept on his bed that day, rejoicing, and he slept the everlasting sleep, and died 180 years old. He completed 25 weeks, 5 years, and his two Banim, Esau and Yaakov, buried him. And Esau went to the land of Edom, to the mountains of Seir, and dwelt there. And Yaakov dwelt in the mountains of Hebron, in the tower of the land of the sojournings of his father Abraham. And he worshipped Yahweh with all his heart, and according to the visible commands, according as he had divided the days of his generations. And Leah his wife died in the 4th year of the 2nd week of the 45th Yublym, and he buried her in the cave of Machpelah, near Ribkah his mother, to the left of the grave of Sarah his father's mother. And all her Banim and his Banim came to mourn over Leah his wife with him, and to comfort him regarding her, for he was lamenting for her. For he loved her exceedingly after Rahel her sister died, for she was perfect and upright in all her ways, and honored Yaakov. And all the days that she lived with him, he did not hear from her mouth a harsh word, for she was gentle and peaceable and upright and honorable. And he remembered all her deeds which she had done during her height, and he lamented her exceedingly, for he loved her with all his heart and with all his being. Chapter 37. And on that day that Yitzchak, the father of Yaakov and Esau, died, the Banim of Esau heard that Yitzchak had given the portion of the elder to his younger Ban Yaakov, and they were very wroth. And they strove with their father, saying, Why has your father given Yaakov the portion of the older, and passed over you, although you are the older, and Yaakov the younger? And he said to them, Because I sold my birthright to Yaakov for a small bowl of lentils, on the day my father sent me to hunt and catch, and bring him some that he should eat and barak me, he came with deceit, and brought my father food and drink. And my father barak him, and put me under his hand. And now our father has caused us to swear, he and I, that we shall not mutually devise evil either against his brother, and that we shall continue in love and peace each one with his brother, and not make our ways corrupt. And they said to him, We shall not listen to you to make peace with him, for our strength is greater than his strength. We are more powerful than he. We shall go up against him, and slay him, and destroy him and his Banim. And if you shall not go up with us, we shall do evil to you also. And now listen to us, and let us send to Aram, to Palashat, to Moab, to Ammon, and let us choose for ourselves chosen males who are ardent for battle, and let us go against him and do battle with him, and let us destroy him from the Arets before he grows strong. And their father said to them, Do not go, and do not make battle with him, lest you fall before him. And they said to him, This too is exactly your matter of doing from your youth until this day, and you are putting your neck under his yoke. We shall not listen to these words. And they sent to Aram and to Aduram, to the friend of their father, and they hired along with them 1,000 fighting males, chosen males of battle. And they came to them from Moab and from the children of Ammon, those who were hired, 1,000 chosen males, and from Palashat 1,000 chosen males of battle, and from Adum and from the Hurites 1,000 chosen fighting males, and from the Kittim mighty males of battle. And they said to their father, Go out with them and lead them, or else we shall slay you. And he was filled with wrath and displeasure on seeing that his Banim were forcing him to go before, to lead them against Yaakov his brother. But afterward he remembered all the evil which lay hidden in his heart against Yaakov his brother, and he remembered not the oath which he had sworn to his father and to his mother, that he would plan no evil all the days against his brother Yaakov. And notwithstanding all this, Yaakov did not know that they were coming against him to battle. But he was mourning for Leah, his wife, until they approached very near to the tower, with 4,000 warriors and chosen males of battle. And the males of Hebron sent to him, saying, See, your brother has come against you to fight you. with 4,000 girded with the swords, and they carry shields and weapons, for they loved Yaakov more than Esau. So they told him, for Yaakov was more generous and kind male than Esau. And Yaakov would not believe until they came near to the tower. And he closed the gates of the tower, and he stood on the rampart, and spoke to his brother Esau, and said, Noble is the comfort with which you have come to comfort me for my wife who has died. Is this the oath that you swore to your father, and again to your mother before they died? You have broken the oath, and on the moment that you swore to your father, you were condemned. And then Esau answered and said to him, Neither the children of males nor the beasts of the earths have any oath of righteousness, which in swearing they have sworn forever, but in every day they plan evil one against another, how each may slay his adversary and foe. And you hate me, my children, and I forever. And there is no observing the tie of brotherhood with you. Hear these words which I declare to you. If the boar can change its skin and make its bristles as soft as wool, or if it can cause horns to sprout forth on its head like the horns of a stag or of a sheep, then I shall observe the tie of brotherhood with you. But if the wolves make peace with the lambs so as not to devour or to do them violence, and if their hearts were towards them for good, then there shall be peace in my heart towards you. And if the lion becomes a friend of the ox and makes peace with him, and if he is bound under one oak with him and plows with him, then shall I make peace with you. And when the raven becomes white as the stork, then know that I have loved you and shall make peace with you. You shall be rooted out, and your banim shall be rooted out, and there shall be no peace for you. And when Yaakov saw that he was evilly disposed towards him with his heart, with all his being, so as to slay him, and that he had come leaping like a wild boar which comes upon a spear that pierces and kills it, and does not recoil from it, then he spoke to his own and to his servants that they should attack him and all his companions. Chapter 38. And after that Yehuda spoke to Yaakov his father, and said to him, Bend your bow, father, and shoot your arrows down. Bring down the adversary, and slay the enemy. And may you have the strength, for we shall not slay your brother, for he is such as you, and he is like you. Let us give him respect. Then Yaakov bent his bow, and shot the arrow, and struck Esau his brother, and slew him. And again he shot out an arrow, and struck Aduram the Aramean on the left breast, and drove him backwards, and slew him. Then the banim of Yaakov went forth, they and their servants, dividing themselves into companies on the four sides of the tower. And Yehuda went out in front, and Naphtali and Gad with him, and 50 servants with him on the south side of the tower. And they slew all they found before them, and not one of them escaped. Louis and Dan and Ashar went out of the east side of the tower, and 50 with them, and they slew the fighting males in Moab and Ammon. And Reuben and Issachar and Zabulon went out of the north side of the tower, 50 males with them, and they slew the fighting males with the Pelashites, of the Pelashites. And Shimon and Benjamin and Hanuk, Reuben's man, went forth on the west side of the tower, and 50 with them, and they slew of Adum and the Horites 400 males, mighty warriors. 600 fled. For the banim of Esau fled with them, and left their father laying slain, as he had fallen on the hill which is in Aduram. And the banim of Yaakov pursued after them to the mountains of Seir. And Yaakov buried his brother on the hill which is in Aduram, and he returned to his house. And the banim of Yaakov pressed hard upon the banim of Esau and the mountain of Seir, and bowed their necks, so that they became servants of the banim of Yaakov. And they sent to their father whether they should make peace with them or slay them. And Yaakov sent word to his banim that they should make peace, and they made peace with them, and placed the yoke of servitude upon them, so that they paid tribute to Yaakov and to his banim always. And they continued to pay tribute to Yaakov until the day he went down into Mitzrayim. And the banim of Adum have not released from the yoke of servitude which the 12 Banim of Ya'aqub, had imposed on them until this day. And these are the sovereigns that reigned in Adum, before any sovereign reigned over the children of Yisrael in the land of Adum. And Balak, the Ban of Baur, reigned in Adum, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Balak died, and Yubab, the Ban of Zerah of Bootzrah, reigned in his place. And Yubab died, and Husham of the land of Taman reigned in his place. And Husham died, and Hadad, the Ban of Badad, who slew Midian, and the field of Moab, reigned in his place. And the name of his city was Auith. And Hadad died, and Samlah from Masrakah reigned in his stead. And Samlah died, and Shaul of Rahubut Nahar reigned in his place. And Shaul died, and Baal Hanan, the Ban of Akbor, reigned in his place. And Baal Hanan, Ban of Akbor, died, and Hadar reigned in his place. And the name of his wife was Mahatabal, the daughter of Matrad, the daughter of Mezahab. These are the sovereigns who reigned in the land of Adum. Chapter 39. And Ya'aqub dwelt in the land of his father's sojourning, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Ya'aqub. And Yosef was 17 years old when they took him down into the land of Mitzrayim. And Putipar, a eunuch of Pharaoh, the chief of the guard, bought him, and he appointed Yosef over all his house. And the barakah of Yahuwah came upon the house of the Mitzrayite on account of Yosef, and Yahuwah prospered him in all that he did. And the Mitzrayite committed all unto the hands of Yosef, for he saw that Yahuwah was with him, and that Yahuwah prospered him in all that he did. And Yosef's appearance was handsome, and his appearance was good looking, and his master's wife lifted up her eyes and saw Yosef, and she loved him, and pleaded with him to lie with her. But he did not surrender his being, and he remembered Yahuwah, and the words which Ya'aqub his father used to read from among the words of Abraham, that no male should commit whoring with a female who has a husband, that for him the punishment of death has been ordained in the Shemayim before the Most High, and the crime shall be recorded against him in the everlasting books continually before Yahuwah. And Yosef remembered these words and refused to lie with her. And she pleaded with him for a year, but he refused and would not listen. But she embraced him and held him fast in the house in order to force him to lie with her, and closed the doors of the house, and held him fast. But he left his garments in her hands, and broke through the door, and fled outside from her presence. And the female saw that he would not lie with her, and she accused him in the presence of his master, saying, Your Abri, servant, whom you love, sought to force me so that he might lie with me. And it came to be, when I lifted up my voice, that he fled, and left his garment in my hands when I held him, and he broke through the door. And the Mitzrayite saw the garment of Yosef, and the broken door, and heard the words of his wife, and threw Yosef into prison, into the place where the prisoners were kept whom the sovereign imprisoned. And he was there in prison. But Yahuwah gave Yosef favor in the sight of the chief of the prison guards, and compassion before him. For he saw that Yahuwah was with him, and that Yahuwah made all that he did prosper. And he gave all matters into his hands, and the chief of the prison guards knew of naught that was with him. For Yosef did all, and Yahuwah perfected it. And he remained there 2 years. And in those days Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, was wroth against his 2 eunuchs, against the chief cupbearer, against the chief cupbearer, and against the chief baker. And he put them in confinement in the house of the captain of the guard, and the prison where Yosef was kept. And the captain of the prison guards appointed Yosef to serve them. And he served before them, and they both dreamed a dream, the chief cupbearer, and the chief baker, and they told it to Yusuf. And as he interpreted to them, so it befell them. And Pharaoh restored the chief cupbearer to his office, and the baker he slew, as Yusuf had interpreted to them. But the chief cupbearer forgot Yusuf in the prison, although he had informed him what would befall him, and he did not remember to inform Pharaoh how Yusuf had told him, for he forgot. Chapter 40. And in those days of Pharaoh dreamed 2 dreams in one night concerning a scarcity of food, which was to be in all the land. And he awoke from his sleep and called all the interpreters of dreams that were in Mitzrayim and magicians, and told them his 2 dreams, but they were not able to declare. And then the chief cupbearer remembered Yusuf, and spoke of him to the sovereign. And he brought him out of the prison, and he told his 2 dreams before him. And he said before Pharaoh that his 2 dreams were one. And he said to him, 7 years of plenty shall come over the land of Mitzrayim, and after that 7 years of scarcity of food, such a scarcity of food as has not been in all the land. And now let Pharaoh appoint overseers in all the land of Mitzrayim, and let them store up food in every city throughout the days of the years of the plenty. And there shall be food for the 7 years of scarcity of food. And the land shall not perish through the scarcity of food, for it will be very severe. And Yahweh gave Yusuf favor and kindness in the eyes of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to his servants, we shall not find such a wise and discerning male as this male, for the spirit of Yahweh is with him. And he appointed him the second in all his reign, and gave him authority over all Mitzrayim, and caused him to ride in the second chariot of Pharaoh. And he clothed him in fine linen garments, and he put a gold chain upon his neck, and proclaimed before him, Al, Ua, Abir, and he placed a ring on his hand, and made him ruler over all his house, and magnified him, and said to him, only on the throne shall I be greater than you. And Yusuf ruled over all the land of Mitzrayim, and all the princes of Pharaoh, and all his servants, and all who did the sovereign's business loved him. For he walked in uprightness, for he was without pride and ignorance, and he had no respect of faces, and did not accept bribes, but he judged all the people of the land in uprightness. And the land of Mitzrayim was at peace before Pharaoh, because of Yusuf, for Yahweh was with him, and gave him favor and kindness for all his generations before all those who knew him, and those who heard concerning him. And Pharaoh's reign was well ordained, and there was no adversary and no evil one. And the sovereign called Yusuf's name Zaphnath Panaah, and gave Yusuf a wife as the daughter of Putipar, the daughter of the Kuhan of the captain of the guard. And on that day Yusuf stood before Pharaoh. He was 30 years old. And in that year Yitzchak died, and it came to be as Yusuf had said in the interpretation of his 2 dreams, accordingly as he had said it. There were 7 years of plenty over all the land of Mitzrayim, and the land of Mitzrayim produced abundantly 1 measure to 1,800 measures. And Yusuf gathered food into every city until they were full of grain, until they could no longer count and measure it for its multitude.